What up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's your guy. Hit the keys. Here today to do a quick review and demonstration over Plasma by Izotope. What is Plasma? Well, it is an adaptive spectral tube saturator. Let's go ahead and hop into the plugin and I can explain it a little bit better. So when you open up the plugin, it is going to look like this. Basically what it does is it takes your incoming signal and it only applies saturation to where it thinks that the saturation is needed. So it doesn't just add saturation over everything in a frequency band. It takes the incoming signal and then it applies saturation where it's necessary. So this thing isn't going to be like your typical saturation plugin where you're going to be able to boost it to the gills. This thing is just going to add a little bit of color and just a little bit of boost. So it's going to be a subtle saturation, but you'll be able to hear it. So I made a little sample beat as always. I actually even wrote a little verse for this today. So excuse me, it's definitely not all the way mixed down. I made the beat an hour ago. I wrote the verse a half hour ago. And then I recorded the verse probably about 2 minutes ago and just threw Nectar on there. So it's not all the way mixed down, but for the point of this demonstration, I don't think I needed to mix it all the way down. So I'm just gonna let the whole sample beat play and then we're gonna break down this plugin. So let's go. Away from back in the day though, when I used to push that shit the color of mayo. Kept a little 9 to 5 to cover up the payroll. Probably should have been pop something like a Fago. Man, I was out there, never knew how to lay low, cause I thought I had the sauce like Ragu and Prego. Really I was fried like chicken in some panko, but now I'm trying to build like my son in some Legos. They know I'm doing all that I can, building to the future, had to switch up the plan, cause back then I didn't know how to be a man. Damn. All right, guys, so that's the little sample beat that I cooked up for you guys today. Let's go ahead and hop back into Plasma and check this out a little bit more. So as we look here at Plasma, you're gonna see there's gonna be different controls that you can use. So starting over here, you have this section right here, and as you pop down this window, this basically controls the algorithm for the EQ of the saturation, or for the EQ and the band in which it's going to apply the saturation to. So you have all kinds of stuff like master, bright, balanced, warm, scoop. You got vocals, you got guitars, drums. You've got a whole bunch of different algorithms in which you can choose from. Over here, you have your delta. So this will allow you to hear exactly what it is doing. So you can push delta and it'll only play what it's doing in the saturation. You've got bypass, so you can go back and forth to hear the difference. You've got your presets over here. So you've got a bunch of different presets for like mastering. As you can see, there's a bunch here. You've got a bunch of different mixing ones too. So this is just going to give you a quick little preset on there. Over here, you have the saturator, so you can dial this up as much as you want. Then you got attack and release down here. Obviously, that's pretty self-explanatory, but attack is how fast that the plasma is going to work, and the release is how long it's going to sustain. And then you have overdrive down here as well. And then you can move this band around too. You also have a nice feature right here with stereo, mid-side, and transient sustain. So you can split this up if you wanted to, and then bam, you can put different saturations on mid and side, which is pretty damn solid if you ask me. Let's go ahead and come back to the stereo though. So we're gonna go ahead and bypass it first, and then I'm gonna turn it on, and you're going to hear the saturation give the mid-range a little bit more. So it's not gonna saturate everything. So it's not gonna saturate the bass a whole lot. It's not gonna saturate the high end a whole lot. It's just gonna saturate everything in the mid-range. So if you have on headphones or if you're listening through your monitors, you can definitely hear like the piano and the mid-range instruments get a little bit louder. This tool is good for if you're wondering what's mixing from your mix and you're wondering why it's not as thick as it could be, pause. You can throw this on there and you can see if you can get it to be a little bit thicker. So what we're going to do is we're just going to mess with some of these controls real quick. So I'm going to turn up the flux saturation and the overdrive and all this other stuff and kind of mess with some of these master balances and, you know, high end shine and all that other stuff. And then I'm going to play it on some instruments for you guys too, so you guys can hear what it's doing with some of these instruments. So let's go ahead and start here. So if you're listening, it's not being very destructive with the saturation, so it's not making it crunch, but you do have this overdrive down here if that's what you wanted to do. Obviously on the master track, we're probably not doing that, but I'm gonna go ahead and turn that up so you guys can hear what it sounds like. So that's pretty solid. I'm gonna go ahead and go to some of these other presets so that you can see what it's doing with this EQ right here. So if we go to bright right here, it's just gonna add to the higher frequencies over here. So you can hear how it's making the snare and the hi-hats and everything cut through the mix a little bit more. But if I hit this delta mode, you're gonna hear exactly what it's doing. So that right there is what it's adding to the beat, which is pretty solid. I love the delta mode because you can hear what it's actually doing to the beat. And then again, if we go to another one, if we go to warm, so you guys can hear, I'm going to go back and forth to the different presets with just the delta mode on so you can hear what it's doing versus just the overall sound, if that makes sense. So you can hear it's doing different things to the beat as you switch to these different algorithms, which makes this pretty solid. Again, I can't stress that enough, but let's go ahead and go back to this warm, let's turn the delta off, and then we're going to go to bypass, and then we'll turn it on and hear what it sounds like. So you can hear it's just making everything brighter, and then you come over here to different presets if you want to. So like if we hit a preset right here, let's go back to this preset menu and we hit this mastering, and then we just go like basic coloring. You'll see it's going to change the EQ and some of this other stuff, but it changes the presets over here and just gives you a good starting point. So a very good tool for that. Let's go ahead and go to the next instrument. So we're going to come over here to this piano right here. And on this piano, I have plasma on the piano. Now, when you're listening to this piano, I want you to listen to the tail end of the piano. Because, you know, a lot of times when you are using a piano plugin and, you know, you have the tail end of the piano that kind of fades out. Well, this kind of extends the life of the mid frequencies of the tail out of the piano. So let's go ahead and hit bypass first and listen to the piano, and then just make sure you're listening with some headphones or through some monitors and you'll hear it. Now we'll hit this delta so you can hear what it sounds like with just the plugin working, like what it's adding to the sound. So that's pretty solid. So I used it on that. I also used it on this guitar too as well. I mean, basically I used it on everything. So I'm just gonna let you guys hear all the stuff that I used it on. So we'll go ahead and open it back up. And then on this guitar, we'll go ahead and push bypass and then we'll turn it on. So it's just bringing out some of the higher end frequencies. So again, we'll push delta and we'll check it out. So you'll see here how the EQ is only going from here to here, or the saturation is only going from here to here on this band. But it's just adding a little bit for me. I could turn up to overdrive and I could turn up to saturation on this. So you can just hear it's adding more clarity. It's just adding more saturation, more oomph to that guitar. So that's pretty solid too. The next thing I used it on was this drum bus. So with the drum bus, let's go ahead and turn this on real quick. This is what the drums sounded like without the plasma on there. Didn't mean to leave the guitar on there, but you can hear how it's making the drum smack more. And it's not like it's a distorted or a super crunchy saturation. So that allows you to put whatever saturation you want on there. If you want to add a different plugin to get that crunchy sound, then you can put this plasma on there and it's just going to add what you need in that mix. So let's go ahead and try this one more again. We'll go ahead and bypass and just listen to the drums. So what this is allowing it to do is it's allowing it to cut through the mix a little bit more because it's picking up these frequencies and these frequencies instead of just putting saturation on everything and then kind of muddying up the kick with the 808 and all the mid-range frequencies and all that other stuff. So pretty solid. I'm going to go ahead and push play and I'm going to let you guys hear what this mid-side and then this transient sustain sounds like. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll go mid-side, and with the mid-side, we've already got this right here. And then I'm gonna add the side in right here, and I'm gonna turn that up, and you're just gonna hear the difference it's gonna give you. So I know you guys could hear that, but let's go ahead and push delta so you can hear what it's doing. Oh, I can't really do delta on this one, I guess, because I'm running it through a bus, but we'll bypass and we'll turn it back on. So for me, that's a clean saturation. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like it's too much, like, you know, it's all controlled. It's just doing its job. Really, that's what it's doing. And a lot of times when you're doing mixing and stuff like that, it's the subtle things about the mix that make the mix sound better. And so again, we've got plasma on this 808 right here. And so on this 808, you're gonna hear it's just gonna add a bunch of mid frequencies. Like it's reading it, and then it's giving me what it thinks it should do. And I think it did a good job with this 808. So bypass. I mean, I shouldn't have to even hit delta, but I will so that you guys can hear what it did. So that's pretty solid. Then I'll just play it on one more thing so you guys can hear what it sounded like on the vocals. So I'll play the vocals by themselves, and then I'll play the vocals with the reverb, delay bus, and the EQ on there as well. So just so that you guys can hear what it exactly sounds like, because I think this is a pretty good tool. Maybe not be for everybody, I'm going to be honest with you. But if you are making a lot of music and you're wondering, why does my mix not sound as thick as everybody else's, a tool like this would probably help you. So let's go ahead and get back to the vocal. So I've got the vocal up, and we're going to go ahead and push bypass. And then this is what the vocal sounded like. Coming far away from back in the day though, when I used to push that shit the color of mayo. Kept a little 9 to 5 to cover up the payroll. Probably should have been pop, something like a Fago. Man, I was out there, never knew how to lay low, cause I thought I had the sauce like Ragu and Prego. Oh, I forgot to turn off the other track. My bad. But you can hear it's adding just a little bit of saturation. It's just giving it a little bit of extra color on that vocal. Coming far away from back in the day though, when I used to push that shit the color of mayo. Kept a little 9 to 5 to cover up the payroll. Probably should have been pop, something like a Fago. Man, I was out there, never knew how to lay low, cause I thought I had the... So it's like it's giving it a little bit of high end, it's giving a little bit of this. I probably would take a little bit of this low end saturation out though. Coming far away from back in the day though, when I used to push that shit the color of mayo. Kept a little 9 to 5 to cover up the payroll. So that's what it's adding to it. Now let's go ahead and throw a little more saturation into it. Coming far away from back in the day though, when I used to push that shit the color of mayo. Kept a little 9 to 5 to cover up the payroll. Probably should have been pop, something like a Fago. Man, I was out there. So you can hear it's adding just a little bit. It's always the little pieces that make a good mix. So let's go ahead and turn this on with the effects. Let's bring this back up. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna hit bypass. Coming far away from back in the day though, when I used to push that shit the color of mayo. Kept a little 9 to 5 to cover up the payroll. Probably should have been pop, something like a Fago. Man, I was out there, never knew how to lay low, cause I thought I had the sauce like Ragu and Prego. Really, I was fried like chicken and some panko. So it's definitely adding a little bit of color. Like I said at the beginning, this isn't gonna be your saturation tool that's gonna destroy everything, or that's going to add saturation to everything. What it's going to do is it's going to take that signal, it's going to think about it, you know what I'm saying, using AI, and then decide where we should put the saturation. So that's what I got for you guys today. Who would I recommend this for? I would recommend this for somebody whose mixes are almost there, but they don't know what they're mixing to get that extra color that they need. I think that this plugin will help you add a whole lot of color. So make sure if you guys do like this content though, you drop a whole elbow on that like button, hit subscribe and that notification bell so every time we bring you guys a new video, you can be the first to see. Appreciate you guys' time as always, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace. Some hit the key.